Hello, this is Manesh Patel with Alert Trades. Today we released a very unique application that will help any trader out there, and it is completely free. This application is available in 3 different formats. The very first is Windows, where you could access this application via this URL from any Windows browser or any Windows phone. Second, it's available for any Apple device such as iPads and iPhones by going to the App Store and searching for Alert Trades with this logo. And third, it's also available for any Android phone out there by going to Google Play Store and searching for the Alert Trades here with this icon. The first question you may be asking yourself is, what does this application do and how can it help me in trading? Well, if you go to this About tab over here, this will give you a really quick summary of what the application is and how it could help you with trading. The application deals with seasonality. A lot of traders have been using seasonality to find high probability trades for the US stock market. Well, one thing what we've done is we've taken seasonality and we've now gone global with it. So not only can you sit there and search for any US stocks, you now have the ability to search for seasonality patterns for any instrument out there in the world, from Australian stocks to China to India to Germany to Israel to Saudi Arabia to Mexico, Brazil, US, and also it gives you the ability to search for any currencies out there too, from Australian CAD and so forth, along with futures. The next question you may be asking yourself is, how are we very unique compared to other seasonal softwares? How are we different? What the difference comes down to is our formula. If you come to the About tab here, this gives you a very clear explanation of where the difference lies. Okay, but I like to best explain the difference through an example. So what I want to do is I want to show you an example of Apple, and I want to show you what the traditional formula is and where the issues are with the traditional formula that most people are using. So here's an example of Apple. When you deal with seasonal patterns, what you're looking for is a certain period, a certain date range. So in this example here, we're looking for a seasonal pattern between January 5th and January 9th. Okay, so January 5th and January 9th is what we're looking at. What we're going to do is we're going to look at that date range for every year, and we're going to calculate how much Apple moves up or moves down. So for 2014, we're going to look at the opening price on January 5th, 2014, and then subtract it from the closing price of January 9th, 2014, and then we're going to see what that movement is based on the price movement where it started off, and calculate the percentage movement. So that's going to give us a percentage movement for 2014. We'll do the same for 2013, and we'll keep on doing that to get an average percentage movement for each individual years for however many years that it supports. Then what happens is the seasonal software gives you some basic statistics. It gives you the average percentage move, and all the average is taking each one of these percentages here for each individual year and averaging it out. And then what it does, it gives you an accuracy here, which is basically how many years were bullish. That means how many years was this percentage positive, how many years were bearish where this percentage was negative. So if you look at the number of years we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 years of data here. If all 9 years of data it showed you a positive average percentage move, then you'll say that this was 9 out of 9 years it was bullish. If 1 year was bearish and the other 8 years were bullish, then what it'll do is it'll tell you that basically 8 years was bullish and 1 year it was basically bearish. So it'll give you roughly around a 90% accuracy and so forth. So that's basically how most seasonal softwares work, and if you look at it, all they're doing is they're taking a percentage here from this date to this date. Well, the problem comes down to is that what if one of these years was very volatile? If you think about it, 2008 in the US stock market was drastically bearish. Okay, so by each individual year has different volatilities associated with it, and everything different happen to each individual year. Some years may have been a bullish trend. Some years may have been a bearish trend. Some years may have been a consolidation pattern. And that drastically affects exactly what's going on here. And that's been the major problem. So a lot of people that take the seasonal patterns with this normal formula here, they try to trade it and they actually are not too quite successful at all. So what we've done is we changed the formula, and what we do is we change everything, and what we do is we find everything and we change a reference in regards to how things are going on that year. So not only do we look at this date range here, but we also compare how 2006 is doing compared to all the other years. So by looking at this date range, not only looking at the percentage, but what happened for that entire year, we came up with a new formula that turns out to be very, very highly accurate and can help the average trader. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to use our software to basically find high probability trades and then confirm them with fundamental / technical analysis. Okay, because what you have to remember, a seasonal pattern, even though it may tell you it's 100%, there's no guarantee it's going to be 100% this year. You always want to verify with technical analysis on whether it will go in that direction that year, and also the technical analysis will tell you exactly where the entry is, where your stops are, and so forth, so you can perform money management. Okay? Let's now get started. Okay, so the very first thing you need to do is you need to go ahead and register if you have not done that already. If you haven't, it's a very simple process. All you have to do is click on here, sign up for free, or you could click up here for sign up. So once you click on this button here, what you'll do is you'll just give us some basic information here and you'll be ready to go. Now, one thing is, when you do sign up for the very first time, we do use the email verification system out there, so you got to make sure you verify your email. If you're not getting that email, then what you need to do is check your junk mailbox to make sure it's not there. If it isn't there and you're still having issues, all you do is come over here, click on contact right here, and you could basically give us your name information here, send us a message, tell us you're having issues signing up, and what we'll do is we'll give you an email back and start helping you support you. Okay? Now that everyone's registered, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and log in, and we're going to start the application. When you start the application, it comes to a very simple screen here. Okay? Now, we're currently in October, so it's going to show you October. So whatever the current month is, it's going to highlight that for you. If you want to see next month's opportunities, you could click on November, December, or whatever may be the case. Okay? Now, all you do is you go to the search box and search on whatever symbol you're looking for. If you don't know, all you do is just put in some information. So let's just put in China. If I click on China, then every description that has China in it, it automatically appears here. Okay, so if I click on this, this basically will show you a particular China stock here. Okay. If I click on Apple, for example, which is the most famous one, notice it gives me a description and a symbol name. So literally you could put in any description or anything here for any global stock and it'll find it for you. Okay, so let's click on Apple and go through this information in great detail. Okay, so let's now go through and talk about this data and what it represents and give you all the information in great detail. Initially, you notice there's 10 years of data. Normally, we provide you with 10 years of data if it's available. If it's not available, then you may see this information 4 years or whatever it may be the case. But the maximum you're going to get is 10 years of data. Reason why is that anything more than 10 years, it really doesn't give you that much high accuracy at all. And that's one of the reasons why we keep it down to 10 years. If you put your mouse over any of the fields here, you could see description of all the different fields here and what they mean. So if you notice, this says Apple US, so this symbol is for US stocks, and it gives you Apple and it tells you the full description here. Then we give you a confidence factor here. So notice what this says, degree of confidence on forecasting. So this is telling you that 8 out of how many years? So 8 out of 10 years this was bullish. And you could see that here. You could see 2012 this was bearish, this is bearish here. So there was 10 years of data, 2 years were basically negative. So it's 80% confidence on being which way? Bullish. So this tells you the sentiment and tells you the confidence level here. Okay, now remember, this data is for a monthly basis, so it tells you exactly how it did in October. Okay, so this is a monthly seasonal patterns for any of these instruments out there. It's not for any other shorter range or longer range at all. Right now what we're offering is for monthly time frames. Okay, next, basically you come down in here, this tells you the average move, this is a percentage move, this tells you average drawdown, this max profit, and so forth. Each one of these numbers in here is a percentage value. So if you look here, the average move of Apple for the month of October in 2014 was 7.4%. The average drawdown it went down was about 5.4%, and the max profit was basically around 7.4%. So if you look at this here, it basically closed out at max profit. Now over here, this is where a unique formula comes into play. This is what we call seasonal index value. So this looks at what this year was in compared to the entire move for the entire year. So looking at over here, in Apple for October 2014, Apple moved around 16% of its move for the entire year was in October. Okay, so that's what the seasonal index value does. It gives you exactly what percentage of move that month it made compared to the entire year. And you could see that's a big chunk. You could see here in 2012 Apple moved drastically. It was 20% of the entire move for the entire year was basically in 2012. This is where the uniqueness comes into play here. Okay, now how do you use this? What you always want to do is you want to look for stocks or any instrument out there that has at least a confidence rating of 50% or more, and then what you want to do is you look in here, the higher the SIV value you have, the better it's going to be, because you want the big percentage movement to occur for that particular month. That means basically it's not going to consolidate at all. So what I typically do is I look for basically values that are basically 6% or more that occur in October. Okay, so and that's what you're looking for is an average SIV, and some people you could use 5 or higher, but I like to look for 6% or higher for me, for my case. Another one, let's go for Boeing. Let's go look at Boeing in here. If I just type in BA, you could scroll down in this list here, and you could see it scrolls down in here too. Okay, so Boeing is here. I click on Boeing here. Notice this is a 50% SIV of 4.4. This is not even 1% at all. So I can't really make that much at all. If this stock only moves 0.4% of the entire movement entire year, that's not much of a movement at all. So this is not that great of an opportunity at all for me. Okay. Now let's sit there and let's go maybe to let's look at Sensex. We can look at the Indian Sensex here. This is the actual Indian stock market here. And you could see here for the month of October it has a 56% rating. But when it does move 7.8% of the entire year is in this month. Okay, and you can see how the breakdown happens for over the years. Okay. If I want to see what happened in November, you could see November here, and you could see December here is this way. So you notice the confidence factor here for the Indian stock market was great here at 7.8%, 78% in December. So if you're trying to go bullish for the Indian stock market, the best time is possibly going to be in December. So over here you could look at the index and then you could look at individual stocks. But this gives you a very good small idea of how to use this information here. Okay? Now that we've gone through the information in great detail, what I want to do is I want to highlight another section up here. If you come up here to trending, okay, and you choose the top picks. This right here is not available right now, but starting November 1st, what we're going to do is we're going to give you the top picks for all the individual regions. So we'll give you top picks for currencies, US stocks, India stocks, Australia stocks, China stocks, and so forth. So we're actually going to give you the top picks based on the confidence value and the SIV value, and we're going to give you the top picks for all the different regions here, and we'll do that every month. In fact, what we'll do is we'll email them to you, and it'll also be available on the website too, so that way you have all this information for free at all times. The other thing is, if you come up here, we're adding more things here, but one of the things we just added was the S&P sectors for the US stock market, and in here this shows you the US sectors, and you could see in here it gives you the confidence value along with the movement. So you could see typically what happens in the month of October. Utilities are the ones that have a bullish movement, that typically move a lot in the month of October, and they typically are 3.3% of the entire year. Okay, so you could look here of all the different indexes that move. If you click on the different fields, you have all the information here, so you can see the confidence value and the seasonal index value there too. The last section I want to go through is up here in My Accounts. If you come under Settings here, this is where you could change your password. Also, if you come over here, Support. If you guys have anything that you have concerns with, or want to give us feedback or any enhancements, feel free to put your name, email address, subject, and so forth. It comes straight to our support department, which is also our development team, so we could sit there and add information. Remember, it's a brand new application, so we are looking to add more and more and more. Everything is available for free, so please take advantage of it. But remember, this is seasonal patterns, so it's a glorified search engine that finds high probability trades for you. You need to verify them with technical analysis in order for everything to be true and work correctly. Okay, and of course, if you come back in here, if you click on Alert Trades, it takes you back to the home page. Thank you, and good day.